Tamakaze here on a pivot point trading video. We'll be talking about how to create your pivot point zones and how to use those for entries and exits. So I have Tesla pointed up here, everyone's favorite ticker. I'm just going to show a daily pivot zone here, and then I'm going to talk about how I use pivot zones to trade intraday. So I just have one line shown across here. A pivot zone is basically a zone that can be used as a support or resistance. So what you're basically looking for is full-bodied zones between candles that you can point out here. So for here, you can see this was a resistance that turned into support here. So this is a daily pivot zone right here. It has a resistance on the uptrend here, and then it finally broke out, and now this is support. So a big thing to keep in mind is when you're drawing your pivot zones for trading, they should always match your trading style. So if you are a leap trader, you should always use the daily or weekly candle pivot zones. If you are a swing trader, you might want to use the 1 hour or up to the 4 hour potentially. But you can use the 1 hour here, and some of those are going to be very similar, but you can help define them a little bit better. You'll have a little bit more leeway with, like, say, a daily pivot zone than you would, say, an hourly pivot zone if you were looking long term. So, like, for instance, like this one might be defined a little bit better. So what you're looking for here are point of contention zones, basically zones that are hard fought over as support or resistances. So on an intraday, I usually use the 1 to 5 minute candle. And so I'm just going to point that out here. I'm going to use the 1 minute. I'm going to show you how I traded Tesla today specifically. So we're going to get rid of everything, and we're going to go to the beginning of the day, replay, and I'm going to show you live. So this is how the day started. And when the day started, I was aware of Tesla on my watch list because I saw all these inside candles from the daily inside from this day back here. So what you're looking for is, basically coiling action. So you'll have your watch list for everything you're looking up, and then you're watching them throughout the day. And then when you see entry zones based on candlesticks formations, or say a pivot zone is crossed or something like that, you take your entries, and that's when you start using support and resistance pivot zones to determine when you take profit or when you take a stop loss. So I'm going to just hit play, and we're going to go live through here and figure this out. So I might hit pause some point here because it's going to go pretty fast. So you see, at no point did Tesla look good, because I would have probably had a pivot zone starting out right here to begin with, because this was the most recent support. And you can see, zoom in here a little bit better. You can see it rejected that. So if I'm looking to enter Tesla, I'm not looking to enter until it breaks this support zone. At no point, it wicked into the support zone, but at no point did it break above this old resistance or this old support. So this old support now became resistance. And you can see, if we would have entered, say we would have thought of entering in here before it broke this, we would have got decimated. And as you'll see, this might have worked out for us in the long run. It did not work out for us in the short term. So we did not enter yet. And we're not going to enter this unless it gets over there. Okay. So we would have entered right here on this green body candle. So I'm going to mark this right here, and we're going to see where it has happened. So we can see this got over our pivot zone of this old resistance right here, which was support here. So you can see now we have a full body candle. And you thought you would have entered here, but you're waiting for, we probably would have actually entered here. So you have a full bodied confirm 1 minute candle above here, and the next candle opens above here. So let's say we open here. Let's continue. So then you're going to say this is the high of the day here, or the most recent high. This is our next pivot zone. This pivot zone should actually be down to So this is our pivot zone here. This should go on down to the bottom of this wick that matches the body of this. So you probably would have had there. And you can see it comes back down into here, retests this breakout, and then keeps going. And right here, you're probably thinking, all right, what is happening? That nothing's happening. I just entered this call and it's going sideways and I'm losing money to theta. But you could just see, let's go here. So this is a false breakout here. We have volume confirmed breakout. So this looks really good. It gets above our resistance and you can see it's basically going against these old pivot zones here. So you would then draw a pivot zone here and you're waiting for it to break above here. And your entry was here, so you really want it to break below here for your stop loss. So we're just seeing how price action moves intraday here. You're thinking to yourself, I probably should have sold there. That was a double top. But at this point, it still hasn't broken your pivot zone of when you entered. And you can see this volume candle on this breakout was very healthy. And now you can see it's starting to break out above these pivot zones and create huge breakouts. So you want to know where your price targets are. So you're going to see you're going to have a pivot zone here because you have resistance here and support here. So you can see this is a resistance and support zone. And so when it hits these zones over here and rejects off of here, you could have taken some profits here. So what you're going to do is you're going to start scaling out some contracts here. And now this old zone right here, so we're going to take this one and turn it red. So this is your entry zone here. This is one zone here. You have another zone here that you made. And then your profit zone was here. And then you're probably going to even have one up here as well. So this is like your next one. If for some reason we get above this green zone, you can see support and resistance where they share them up here. So you had basically resistance, 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 a couple of support zones up here. And so you're going to scale out. Let's say you bought 10 contracts and this rejected here. On this rejection in this next candle, you're going to sell probably 2 or 3 of them. And if it breaks this support zone, you never want to let a trade go red. So then you're going to scale out another, at least half your contracts. Let's see what happens. So you could see you would have scaled out part of your contracts here, but because it never broke this old resistance, this old support zone, you take a little profit here, but you're still holding the majority of your contracts. And you can see a major breakout, volume confirmed above both your zones. So at this point, we don't care about these bottom zones. We only care about these zones up here. So now this becomes your support zone here. So you want basically the body to wick here. And so this is then your support zone. And then we're looking for, okay, where are our profit zones here? So those profit zones are going to be your old ones up here. You're looking like right there. So you have resistance and a couple of supports. So let's see what happens here. If it gets above this, you're probably going to want your next one. So you're going to be looking there. You're looking here. And then you want your all-time high zones up here. All right. So let's see what happens here. So it goes into our zone, wicks above it, goes above it. So now, let's pause this. You don't care about this. You don't care about this. This is our target zones. These are our target zones. And you can see this right here, you're probably going to change a little bit down. Let's just move this over so you can see what you're looking for here is this zone right here. So you can see this right here. You got, there we go. So you got your candle, and bring that down to your old resistance. And now you have this resistance should turn support if we go up. So you always want to be making higher highs. So let's see how this works out. You most likely would have taken profit there again. You can see you basically had a support zone here at this. So this would have been a little bit wrong, but you would have taken profits right here and this would have gone down. So you would have been very successful with this zone right here. So you would have taken, just to confirm, you would have taken your full profits right there on that. So you would have entered right here at 707 and you would have taken some profits here, some profits here on this resistance, and you would have exited here on this break right here at 718. This would have been a very successful trade, and that is how you use support and resistance zones. So if you wanted to get back in, say, and replay this, I don't recommend that, but you could still then use support and resistance zones as exits and entries. So let's say you now have this, because you're saying, all right, well, this is kind of a bull flag. Is this something I should re-enter? Possibly, possibly not. So at this point, you can start to see this channel down here. You can see this is going to be a point of contention here. We could play this a little bit longer and see what happens. At this point, the trade's pretty much done. It's breaking all of our zones. At some point, it may in the future go up again, but in terms of intraday, we're done with this trade because it keeps rejecting all of our things. At this point, you would only enter this trade if it broke this high zone up here, because then you're playing the daily, you're playing the high of the day breakout. In here, you're just playing with chop, and you're going to get messed with theta all day. So hopefully this helps you understand how you use pivot zones, how you're basically going and using these wicks and bodies at the top, wicks and bodies at the top. And, you're basically creating support zones. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Like, let's say you would have entered here. So then this is your entry here. So you're using this support zone here as your stop loss, and you're just playing it as you go up. So this would have been a very successful trade, and now you have your support and resistance zones for the entire day, and you could have played it the entire day and just map it out as you go. Hopefully this helps your intraday trading, your day trading. It's a very simple strategy. You can combine this with many other strategies, but in its core form, this is a simple strategy, and I hope it makes you a more profitable trader. Thank you, and have a great day.